Hi everyone, my name is Astha and I'm a psychologist, a certified hypnotherapist, and a PhD scholar in psychology. This is my YouTube channel where we talk everything about psychology. So, recently there was a question and answer round done on my Instagram account where I asked you people as to which topic would you want me to talk about next in the YouTube video, and something that was highly requested was how to clear net examination in first attempt. So, here I am with the video. So we are going to talk about my net journey in this video as to what all I did that I was able to clear it in the first attempt, and of course we're going to talk about some tricks which you can follow to study more and to be able to concentrate more for whatever exam that you are preparing for. So please subscribe to this channel and share this video with whoever you feel will benefit from this video. And let's get started. Alright, so let's talk about NET examination first. So the full form of NET is National Eligibility Test, which is conducted by UGC all across India for 81 subjects. Now it is two categories, assistant professorship only and JRF. Now I'm not going to go into a lot of details about NET examination because this information is very easily and readily available all across the internet on the website of UGC and on Google through many websites. So this is not something that I would want to talk about, but I'm definitely going to tell you guys about what I did that I was able to clear it in first attempt. So I filled UGC NET in December 2019, and I think you have two options for it. It's been almost 3 years now, so I might not be able to recall some information very perfectly, but as far as I remember, you get the option of ticking if you also want to appear for JRF, and of course for AP, so you have to do. So I did for both, but I was not able to clear for JRF. I just have assistant professorship only, but it sufficed for the reason for which I wanted to do it. So there are two papers in it: paper 1, which is common for all the subjects, and paper 2, which is specific to your subject. So because my master's was in psychology, I of course appeared for psychology, and in paper 1 you have 50 questions, and in paper 2 you have 100 questions. Now a lot of people, what they do is that they focus a lot on paper 2, which is very specific to your subject. But what I found easier was that I focused a lot on paper 1. So in paper 1 you have 10 to 12 categories, which again you can look for on the internet, but some categories are reading comprehension, logical reasoning, and some questions like that, and series based questions, and etc. And what I realized was that it was easier for me to concentrate on them because it was all about learning as to how to crack those questions, and they are like maths that you are very confident if you have been able to crack them or if you have not been able to crack them. So it made more sense to me, and honestly I focused more on paper 1, though it weighs half than that of paper 2. But a lot of people, what they do is they just don't study for paper 1 and they put all their focus for paper 2, and paper two's syllabus is never ending. Especially I can talk about psychology, it is like you never know what is going to come. Though they give you the names of the topics like motivation, learning, emotions, and stuff like that, but still what information you have within those topics is never ending, and so it becomes very difficult if you set on a target to study all or to grasp it all. And it is a never satisfying situation as well, because no matter how much you study, you will always feel like कि कुछ तो रह ही गया है and I have not done enough. So my tip would be to focus more on paper 1 because it is extremely scoring. If you are able to crack as to how to decode the series questions, or how to decode the logical reasoning questions, or how to get through the reading comprehension and other questions, then you will also get confidence, and that is a very scoring thing. So if you're able to understand how to decode the series wala questions, there are multiple questions based on that particular format. So अगर आप एक ट्रिक सीख जाओगे तो उससे आप 5 या 6 क्वेश्चंस करना सीख जाओगे, तो क्या होगा, it becomes very scoring. A lot of people do not focus on paper 1, and this is one mistake that I have seen a lot of the students who have contacted me regarding this concern. So this would be my tip 1. Another tip that I would like to give you guys is that do not try to study everything, because like I mentioned, the syllabus, especially in paper 2, is never ending, and I'm Sure, that would be the case for other subjects as well and not just psychology. So what we do is, जैसे learning है, emotion है, motivation है, ये कुछ topics हैं psychology के. हम ये सोचते हैं कि हम सारी theories पढ़ लें, हम सब कुछ पढ़ लें, लेकिन obviously that is not possible. And उसकी वजह से क्या होता है, we do not get enough time to actually practice and understand the pattern of the paper. So UGC NET is one examination जिसकी आपको unlimited books मिल जाएंगी, जिसके अंदर you will get 10-year papers. So there were just two books that I referred to, one for paper 1 and one for paper 2. If you guys want, you will find the link for those in the description box below. But उन books का कोई बहुत बड़ा हाथ नहीं है, because उनके अंदर क्या था, उनका पैटर्न बहुत अच्छा था. दो उन बुक्स के अंदर क्या था, दैट हाफ ऑफ द बुक्स हैड 10-year पेपर्स अलॉन्ग विद द आंसर, सो दैट आई कुड मेक श्योर दैट मैंने क्या सही किया है और क्या गलत किया है. एंड सेकेंड हाफ में दे हैड टॉक्ड अबाउट ईच टॉपिक विच वॉज गिवन बाय नेट का, एंड उसके अंदर उन्होंने थोड़ा थोड़ा सा कॉन्सेप्ट डिस्क्राइब किया हुआ था इन जस्ट 1 to 1.5 पेज. एंड उसके बाद उन्होंने उस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक के कुछ प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चंस दिए हुए थे. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि व्हाट आई पर्सनली डिड वाज दैट आई डिड नॉट एक्चुअली गो थ्रू द इंटायर साइकोलॉजी बुक्स, बिकॉज if you are a psychology student, you would know कि there is unlimited material available, there is unlimited information, unlimited conceptual theories, frameworks for each of the topic. तो अगर मैं सिर्फ emotion भी उठाऊंगी, so I obviously cannot read 15 books and understand and retain every information. So what I did was कि जितना उसके अंदर उन्होंने information दिया हुआ था 1.5 पेज में, obviously बहुत basic information होती है, मैंने वो पढ़ा. उसके बाद में I took out my psychology बुक्स और मैंने जो जो टॉपिक्स उन्होंने इमोशन के अंदर फोकस किए थे, मैंने उनके बारे में थोड़ा थोड़ा पढ़ा. एंड देन आई स्टार्टेड प्रैक्टिसिंग द क्वेश्चंस दैट दे हैड गिवन एट द एंड ऑफ द चैप्टर. सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई डिड फॉर ऑल द साइकोलॉजी रिलेटेड टॉपिक्स. उससे क्या होता है, हमें एक बेसिक आइडिया मिल जाता है कि अच्छा थ्योरीज के ऊपर ज़्यादा फोकस कर रहे हैं, या फिर इस एरिया के पायनियर्स पे ज़्यादा फोकस कर रहे हैं, या फिर अच्छा ज़्यादा केस स्टडी बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आर कमिंग. सो उससे हमें वो एक बेसिक आइडिया हो जाता है. एंड क्या होता है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आपकी ना थोड़ी सी इंट्यूशन डेवलप होने लग जाती है कि यार अच्छा ये वाला पायनियर जो है या ये वाली जो थ्योरी है, इस पर थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा अटेंशन दिया जा रहा है, सो लेट मी स्टडी लिटिल बिट मोर अबाउट दिस. And in this, I particularly feel practice makes you perfect, no matter if it is paper 1 or paper 2. So the entire purpose also of buying a 10-year paper book is also that you will be able to practice more. So what I did was कि जब मैंने ये सब कॉन्सेप्ट्स पढ़ लिए, ये सब टॉपिक वाइज पढ़ लिए, एंड पेपर 1 का भी मैंने सिमिलर किया, जैसे उन्होंने लॉजिकल रीजनिंग का भी सिमिलर किया, वो मैंने पढ़ लिया, रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन का किया, वो मैंने ऐसे ही पढ़ लिया. उसके बाद में आई जस्ट केप्ट ऑन प्रैक्टिसिंग द 10-year पेपर्स. सो उसके अंदर क्या होता है, दे हैव गिवन सो मेनी क्वेश्चंस एंड यू ऑब्वियसली हैव MCQs, एंड उसमें यू कीप ऑन डूइंग, यू जस्ट डू वन एंटायर पेपर एंड देन यू मैच द आंसर्स विद इट एंड देन यू स्कोर योरसेल्फ. सो कई बार ऐसा होता है कि व्हेन वी स्कोर वी बिकम सो डिसहार्टेंड, आवर सेल्फ एस्टीम सिंक्स कि यार मेरे तो मार्क्स ही नहीं आ रहे हैं. बट यू डोंट हैव टू वरी अबाउट इट, बिकॉज दैट इज व्हाट प्रैक्टिस इज फॉर. सो जो आपका गलत हुआ है, यू जस्ट गो बैक एंड यू ट्राई टू सी कि अच्छा इसका आंसर ये है, एंड then maybe you can search little bit more कि okay इसका आंसर ये क्यों है. so आपको वो conceptual understanding भी मिल जाएगी. पेपर 1 में अगर आपसे ऐसी गलती हो रही तो यू विल रियलाइज कि ओके मेरी ट्रिक में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, या फिर इस पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट और स्किल जो है एप्टीट्यूड बेस्ड स्किल है उसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग में मेरी कोई प्रॉब्लम है. तो जितना ज़्यादा आप प्रैक्टिस करोगे उतना ज़्यादा आपके लिए बेटर रहेगा. सो व्हाट आई डिड वाज आई डिड नॉट फोकस सो मच ऑन स्टडी, because इसके अंदर भी 2 factors I think which played in my favor were that first of all I had recently got out of my masters. I completed my masters in June 2019 and I appeared for the examination in December, so all the concepts are very very fresh in my mind, and also because I was preparing for MPhil. So MPhil was something that I was extremely passionate about, but I was not able to clear even one entrance of MPhil. तो उसके लिए मैंने वैसे ऑलरेडी पढ़ा हुआ था, तो शायद उस चीज़ ने भी मुझे मेरी कॉन्सेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग में हेल्प करा. बट मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स एज फार एज आई नो दे गिव नेट एग्जामिनेशंस through or during and right after their masters. So I think this is something which is going to play in your favor as well. So I consciously did not really focus on studying more and more, because I had this from very beginning ki this is never ending, this is never going to come to an end. So I focused more on practicing. So this is something that I would suggest to you guys also, कि चाहे paper 1 हो or if it is paper 2, just focus on practicing. Keep on doing MCQs. अगर आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि 10 year में मैंने सब कुछ कर लिया, so just go on the internet. You will find so many organizations which are providing you with practice questions for net. Just do them and try to understand क्योंकि मैं कहाँ ज़्यादा गलती कर रहा हूँ. And I think this will definitely help you. Another thing that I would like to talk to you guys about again is experience based. And what I have come to realize is that whenever we are preparing for an examination or we are appearing for any sort of an examination, we tend to make a very big fuss out of it. So चाहे वो नेट हो, नीट हो, या एमफिल के एंट्रेंसेस हो, मास्टर्स के एंट्रेंसेस हो, या डीयू के न्यूली इंट्रोड्यूस्ड एंट्रेंसेस हो, कोई भी एग्जामिनेशन हो, वी टेंड टू रियली मेक अ बिग फस आउट ऑफ इट एंड इट बिकम्स वेरी वेरी स्कैरी फॉर us and for the person sitting next to us. I'll tell you how. So when I went for my net examination, there was some time before the examination started, and I so ended up talking to the girl who was sitting right next to me. And so I asked her, how old are you, आपके कौन से टाइम है ये आपका when you are appearing for the examination. And she said that it was her 4th attempt and previous 3 times she's not been able to clear it. And I got really scared, because to be very very honest with you guys, clearing net was not one of my dreams, and I had not really set out on a mission that I have to clear it, and that too in the first attempt. I filled net examination only because everyone around me was doing it, and so I thought कि कुछ important ही होगा, so let me just give it and see how things work out and what is the exact pattern of it and everything. मुझे इतना भी नहीं पता था कि अगर assistant professorship only वाला अगर आपका clear हो जाता है, so what are the advantages, and अगर JRF हो जाता है, how things work out. I honestly knew nothing of it. But as soon as I heard the girl who was sitting next to me, I was like कि यार ये 4th time दे रही है, and she seems so scholarly and she seems like she's prepared for it all. अगर इनका 3 times में clear नहीं है, so there is no way that I'm going to do it in the first attempt. But because I wasn't really dying for it, मुझे स्ट्रेस हुआ, बट इतना ज़्यादा नहीं हुआ that I collapsed. But when the question paper appeared in front of me, it is a computer based test, so when it appeared in front of me on the screen, I came into a complete flow and I forgot who was sitting next to me, was I trying to clear it in the first attempt or not, and I only focused on the questions. So this may sound very cliched, lekin I got into the flow and I forgot everything, and I just tried to solve the answers, and I just tried to do my best. And when I gave the examination, I was like कि हाँ ठीक हुआ है, बहुत अच्छा भी नहीं हुआ है लेकिन बहुत ख़राब भी नहीं हुआ है. I was very confident about my paper 1 because I knew कि कौन से सही हुए हैं, कौन से गलत हुए हैं. लेकिन paper 2 में it is like कि since there is no negative marking, तो you end up answering all the questions, but you never know till the end of the day कि कितने आपके सही हुए हैं, कितने आपके गलत हुए हैं. So I was like कि चलो ठीक है, जो होगा देखा जाएगा. So what I mean to say is कि and मेरा actually first attempt में clear हो गया. When the results came out, I was so shocked. I was like oh my god, ये क्या हो गया है, and I was really ecstatic about it, because even though I wasn't really aware as to how it is going to exactly help me in my future, but I was really happy that I've been able to do it, and I was of course very happy. But if I reflect back upon it now, I realize कि जिस इंसान ने इतना prepare किया, so maybe she was taking pressure of it, or I don't know if she was aiming to pass JRF or what it was for her, but it did not work out for her. For me, I was only studying because I like to study and I just wanted to give this examination, and I did not really take a lot of pressure of it. I did not get scared that I was sitting next to somebody so scholarly for me and somebody who was so passionate about it. I just gave it and it worked out for me. सो कहने का मतलब ये है दैट यू नेवर नो कि आपके फेवर में क्या चीज़ें चल जाएं एंड आपके फेवर में क्या ना चले. समटाइम्स नॉट टेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ स्ट्रेस एंड just going with the flow also helps, like it did to me. So this I would like to suggest you guys, that do not be after it and do not be like कि ये तो करना ही है वरना लाइफ में कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा, because sometimes you take so much pressure that you get so scared in that you are not actually able to give your best because of the fear of failing. So definitely have that passion and definitely have that feeling that this is my goal, I want to achieve it, work very very hard for it, but do not take so much pressure that you succumb to that pressure and that you are not able to actually perform your best and you are not able to give your best because of the anxiety and because of the stress. And the last tip probably that I would like to give you guys is something very very common which I'm pretty confident कि आपको और भी लोगों ने बताया होगा, या if you're preparing for net आपने पढ़ा होगा इंटरनेट पे ज़रूर, that there is no negative marking. So answer all the questions and just go for it. अगर आपका intuition भी बोल रहा है especially in paper 2 कि ये आंसर होना चाहिए but you're not really sure about it, so just go with your intuition because there is no negative marking. तो अगर आप थोड़ा सा गैस वर्क भी कर रहे हो so उसमें कोई हार्म नहीं है बिकॉज आपके मार्क्स नहीं कटेंगे, यू नेवर नो वो सही हो जाए, 25% चांसेस तो हैं ही कि वो ठीक हो जाएगा. So answer all the questions and just go with the flow. And now let's talk about some common tips which you can use in order to prepare for any kind of examination or anything big in your life, maybe a presentation, maybe something else which I hope will help you guys. So the first tip is that always divide your syllabus into parts. So do not try that I'm going to complete the entire unit or even one chapter in one go or even in one day. We have to be aware of our caliber, we have to be aware of how much we can do without actually taking so much stress of it. So always divide your syllabus into parts and start preparing quite some time before. So for example, you feel कि मेरा ये एग्जाम है और मुझे इसके लिए 1 month चाहिए प्रिपरेशन के लिए, so start preparing 1.5 months before, because थोड़ा सा मोटिवेशन पीक होने में भी टाइम लगता है, कई बार थोड़ा सा फ्लो में आने में भी टाइम लगता है, and sometimes some parts of your syllabus might take more time than you think it would. So have ample amount of time and do not try कि मैं सारा कुछ एक ही दिन में पढ़ लूँगा. Divide your syllabus into parts and you will be able to see that you are able to manage things very effectively and it is not taking a toll on you and your mental health. Also something which is always worked for me since my school years is that whenever I wake up in the morning during the times of my examinations and when I'm preparing for any examinations is that I set a goal for each day. So I do not make a timetable like a lot of people do for the entire week or for the entire month of the duration of the exams, but I make a timetable specific to my day according to how I'm feeling that day. So for example, I wake up and then there are some days wherein you are very high on energy and you feel like yeah, so I can dedicate 5 hours of studying also, which is a lot for me. And किसी किसी दिन हमें लगता है कि आज बिल्कुल मूड नहीं है, आज अच्छा फील नहीं हो रहा है, आज जस्ट एनर्जी एंड मोटिवेशन फील नहीं हो रही, आज ज़्यादा पढ़ने का मन नहीं है. But in this case, for example, if you have a timetable made earlier which expects you to study 6 hours a day, तो क्या होगा कि मन हम चेंज नहीं कर पा रहे हैं and we are very rigid that we are not flexible enough to change our timetable. तो क्या होगा, इन दोनों चीज़ों में congruence नहीं होगी. तो या तो हम 6 घंटा पढ़ नहीं पाएंगे और अगर हम ज़बरदस्ती किताबों को लेकर बैठे भी रहेंगे या लैपटॉप को लेकर बैठे भी रहेंगे तो हम अपना 100% नहीं दे पाएंगे. सो व्हाट आई डू इज़ आई गिव ऑलवेज अ लॉट ऑफ प्रेफरेंस टू हाउ आई एम फीलिंग ईच डे and even in each hour, and I am very sensitive to my feelings and my mood and I always take care of it, which I would suggest to you guys also. So something which has always worked for me, like I said, is that I wake up each day during my examinations and I make a timetable based on how I'm feeling that day. So उसके अंदर I make chunks की 12 to 2 maybe I'm just going to relax and I'm going to lie down on the bed. फिर 2 to 2:30 I'm going to have my lunch. 2:30 to 3:30 I'm going to study. 3:30 to maybe 4 I'm going to take a rest. 4 to 5 I'm going to again study. So this is how I make a timetable. Now in that timetable also, if you're very organized and you want to keep things very very clear in your mind, in that timetable only you can mention the chapters or the topics which you are going to study that day. So like I said in tip 1 that you should always divide your syllabus into parts. So this is how it is also going to help you. तो अगर कोई टॉपिक है जो आपको लग रहा है कि 1 घंटे में क्लियर हो जाएगा मेरा, तो आप उस टाइम ब्रैकेट के अगेंस्ट उस टॉपिक का नाम भी लिख सकते सकते हो। अब उससे क्या होता है, उससे दो चीज़ें होती हैं कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैंने 2 to 3 का टाइम रखा वो वन पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर, अब उस चैप्टर को मैंने जल्दी ख़त्म कर लिया। सो दिस इज़ ऑल्सो वेरी रिवॉर्डिंग फॉर मी दैट जो मैंने उसके बाद हाफ एन आवर का रेस्ट रखा था वो मुझे इंस्टेड ऑफ 30 मिनट्स वो मुझे 40 मिनट्स का मिल गया, बिकॉज मेरा जो ये टॉपिक का गोल था वो 10 मिनट्स अर्ली ख़त्म हो गया। तो इट इज़ वेरी रिवॉर्डिंग फॉर द माइंड एंड इट मोटिवेट्स कि हम अगला टॉपिक भी बहुत एनर्जी बिल्कुल कॉन्सेंट्रेशन से पढ़े और हम जल्दी जल्दी उसको ख़त्म कर लें। एक और चीज़ क्या होती है कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल इस टॉपिक ने ज़्यादा टाइम ले लिया, 1 आवर की जगह मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि 15 मिनट और की ज़रूरत है, बट वॉट हैपन्स इज वेन यू आर इन द फ्लो एंड वेन यू एक्चुअली स्टार्ट enjoying एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट टॉपिक ना, योर माइंड विल टेल यू ऑटोमेटिकली कि यार कोई बात नहीं, 15 मिनट ही तो एक्स्ट्रा पढ़ना है, पढ़ लेते, लेकिन एटलीस्ट ये टॉपिक खत्म हो जाएगा, आई विल बी ओवर दिस टॉपिक एंड देन आई कैन रेस्ट पीसफुली। सो दिस ऑल्सो हैपन्स। तो क्या होता है कि यू विल एंड अप फिनिशिंग दैट टॉपिक। अब वो हो सकता है 50 मिनट्स में ख़त्म हो जाए, वो हो सकता है 75 मिनट्स में ओवर हो, लेकिन ट्रस्ट मी आपका वो टॉपिक ज़रूर ज़रूर ख़त्म हो जाएगा। अगर वो ज़्यादा टाइम लेते हैं तो बेस्ड ऑन दैट यू कैन शिफ्ट योर टाइम टेबल, 15-15 मिनट करके हर चीज़ आगे कर लो, या फिर ट्रस्ट मी यू विल बी सेटिस्फाइड इन 15 मिनट ब्रेक इंस्टेड ऑफ a half an hour break, because you will have that satisfaction that I have completed this topic which I intended to do. So this is also something that you can try, and I'm very hopeful that this will help you. Another thing which has always helped me is that I always take very regular breaks, and this is something which has been supported by research also. So our mind, is designed to concentrate only for some time, and then we need a break. So sometimes people feel कि मैं 2 घंटा लगातार पढ़ूंगा, या मैं 3 घंटे लगातार पढ़ूंगा, या फिर मैं 5 घंटे लगातार पढ़ूंगा और उसी से मेरी एफिशिएंसी प्रूव होगी, बट दिस इज नॉट द केस. If you take small regular breaks in between your work or studying, it actually improves your productivity and concentration. So like I said ki how I design my timetable is that 1 hour of study and 15 minutes of break, 1 hour of study, 15 minutes of break, 1 hour of study and then 30 minutes of 1 hour of break. So ऐसा नहीं है कि मैंने जितना पढ़ा है मुझे उसके उसके बीच में ब्रेक नहीं लेना चाहिए, लेकिन आप रियलाइज़ करोगे कि अगर आपको 3 घंटा पढ़ना है ना, तो उसमें आपको 2 आवर्स का ब्रेक या 1.5 आवर का ब्रेक आपको उसके अंदर इनकलकेट करना ही पड़ेगा। लेकिन वो ब्रेक जो होगा ना, वो आपके माइंड को बहुत ज़्यादा फ्रेश करेगा और आप बहुत ज़्यादा प्रोडक्टिव ज़्यादा हो जाओगे। तो 1 आवर से ज़्यादा तो आई विल नेवर सजेस्ट कि आप एक स्टडिंग का ब्रैकेट क्रिएट करो, बिकॉज इट इज़ ऑल्सो इंटिमिडेटिंग फॉर द ब्रेन कि ओ माई गॉड अब 1.5 घंटा लगातार बैठ के पढ़ना है। सो वी ऑब्वियसली डोंट वांट टू इंटिमिडेट आवर ब्रेन्स एंड माइंड्स ऑल्सो. सो just take small regular breaks, and you should also not be very rigid कि मुझे उस ब्रेक में क्या करना है. So some people are like कि नहीं मुझे उस ब्रेक में गाने सुनने हैं, so I will make sure that I'm listening to 5 songs in order to calm myself down, या फिर मुझे I have to go and I have to spend time with my plants. Do not be so rigid. Just leave it to your mood. Maybe you are feeling so tired and so exhausted that you just want to lie down on your bed, or you want to scroll through your phone. So you can even do that. Or if you feel like I just want to listen to some very calm music, so you can lie down, you can put on some music. What I did very weirdly, I used to watch Coffee with Karan ki episodes in my break. So a lot of people say ki just avoid using phone in your breaks and everything like that, but for me that was very relaxing. So I used to watch funny videos, or I used to watch Coffee with Karan ki episodes during my break, and after that I used to get back to studying. So just leave it to yourself as to what you would want to do in your breaks. There is no hard and fast rule to it कि यही करने से ज़्यादा हमें रिलैक्सेशन लगती है, बिकॉज कई बार वो करने की चॉइस में भी, वो करने की एक ऑब्लिगेशन में भी we tend to stress more. So do not be so rigid, be flexible as to what you want to do in those breaks, but please take regular and small breaks in between. Another thing which is always proven to help me a lot is that I keep talking to my friends in between, and whenever they are struggling with a topic, I make sure that if I have studied it or if I have completed that, I explain that to them. And as they say that teaching is the best learning, so the more you teach or the more you discuss something with your friends and other people of your class, you will realize कि उतना ही वो topic आपके लिए भी वो clear होता जा रहा है, वो एक automatic revision भी हो जाती है. तो तो इफ़ समबडी सेज कि मुझे ये टॉपिक क्लियर नहीं आ रहा है, सो डोंट बी सो कम्पेटिटिव एंड फील कि मैं क्यों इसको बताऊँ, इसके मार्क्स मुझसे ज़्यादा आ जाएंगे. ऑफ कोर्स आई अंडरस्टैंड द फीलिंग ऑफ कॉम्पिटिशन, बट ट्रस्ट मी, अगर आप उनको पढ़ाओगे तो उससे उनसे ज़्यादा आपका फ़ायदा होगा. So do that. If somebody is struggling with a topic but you are clear with that, just go ahead and help them, and this is going to help you in return. Another thing which has been backed up by science and research in psychology is that we have to revise in order to retain something, because there are three kinds of memories: sensory memory, short term memory, and long term memory. So when something goes into the long term memory, the time period for which we can retain is indefinite. So but what happens is, if I am studying something or if I am reading something today, then there are very high chances that I might lose a major part of it in 24 hours, right? And this is why some of the studies have also said that if you study and if you sleep immediately, you will be able to retain more. Always whenever you are starting your studies, just make sure that you are briefly revising what you did the day before. Of course, अगर आप सब कुछ करोगे तो आप उसी को रिवाइज करते रह जाओगे and you will not be able to move forward. But just make sure that you're briefly going through your notes, or you're briefly going through what you studied the previous day, and you will realize that you're able to retain much more. So of course उसके लिए भी you have to set up some time, because hard work के साथ साथ smart work भी बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी होता है. So just do that. And another thing which I would like to tell you is, I'm sure आप लोगों ने कहीं ना कहीं ज़रूर सुना होगा that try to make acronyms of it. अगर कोई चीज़ है जिसके अंदर बहुत सारे multiple steps हैं या बहुत सारे multiple components हैं, तो always try to take 1 or 2 letters of each and try to make one acronym of it. It helps you to learn and retain more of it. Another thing is that always try to make more charts and tables. Even if you are studying something which goes on in steps or something which is a lot of components, so instead of writing them down in lists, you will realize that if you are making a cloud in between, and if you're putting arrows, and if you're writing things like that, so pictures tend to remain in our mind, embedded more in our mind rather than lists. Because lists mein kya hota hai, we tend to write so many words and again our brain gets intimidated, and that is so much information to retain. But if that same information you are putting precisely and in pictorial forms, trust me, you will be able to remember it more. And it might sound a little childish to you guys, but it really really works. Study with multiple colored pens, study with your favorite colors, or use different color highlighters, because again it makes information more attractive. It makes information very colorful, and it becomes easy for our mind to retain that information. Because what happens is that when we sit for our examinations, or when we're sitting for our revisions, हमारी वो पिक्टोरियल मेमोरी एक्टिवेट हो जाती है. एंड अगर हम ये सोचे कि मैंने उस पेज पर क्या पढ़ा था, तो एग्जैक्टली शायद हमें वो लिस्ट वो पैराग्राफ्स नज़र ना आए. लेकिन अगर आपने कोई चार्ट बनाया है, आपने कोई पिक्चर बनाई है, और अगर आप उसको अच्छे से देख के रिटेन करोगे, तो जब आप एग्ज़ाम दे रहे होगे या जब आप उसको रेप्लिकेट करने की कोशिश करोगे, वो एग्जैक्ट पिक्चर आपके माइंड में आ जाएगी. और उस पिक्चर के अंदर ही इतनी सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन है कि आपका वैसे ही पर्पस फुलफिल हो जाएगा. So instead of writing down entire paragraphs, making notes which are as thick as your books and notebooks will not help you. Always try to retain information in a more colorful and a more attractive way, in a more pictorial way, and trust me, this will help you a lot. And one last very very important tip is that always try to love what you are studying, even though if you are not very fond of the topic or not very fond of the subject that you are reading. But until unless you absolutely fall in love with it, and if you really really like it, then only you will be able to give that sort of an energy and enthusiasm which is required. And until unless you respect it, you will not be able to learn it. So even though आपको कोई topic पसंद नहीं है, कोई subject पसंद नहीं है, don't try to hate it. Try to not detest it. Try not to get irritated by it, and try not to get bored of it. Try to make it as interesting as possible, and try to find out कि कुछ तो इसके अंदर अच्छा होगा. Try to relate कि how this can help me in future, and just learn from the perspective of gaining knowledge and not just replicating in your exams. And no matter how cliche it might sound, but this is really really something which is very very important. And with this, we come to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed listening about my journey of my NET examination, and you also liked the tips that I shared with you for NET examinations and all other common entrances also. And please like the video, please share the video with your friends with whom you think that this is going to be beneficial for, and please subscribe to this channel. And thank you. Keep watching out this space for more tips and tricks.